Jersey. He said he did nothing special getting ready for this. He's just going to go out, have some fun, see what happens.
Oh, Larry Hughes not able to hit on that first slam dunk opportunity.
Well, you get one miss in the first round, so that's all right. You only take your top 2 scores, but he's got to be a little bit more cautious now, and that takes away a little bit of your aggressiveness.
Larry Hughes, a player whose name has surfaced in a number of trade rumors in recent weeks, but he is a talent, just 21 years old. Let's check in with Cheryl.
Larry, you missed the first dunk. You're a little nervous on the first one?
I think I was a little too high. I think it hit off the back of my head. But I'll be back. I got 2 more dunks to do.
So you're not really concerned about it?
Nah, I'm not worried about it.
All right, let's go back to you, Mark.
All right, Cheryl.
Larry Hughes scores 30 on his first dunk.
Well, that is the unanimous of 30, which is actually the minimum.
Well, at least Kenny Smith got that one right.
Yes, he did.
Well, you know, that one's an easy one, but I thought he had some creativity. If that went down, he could have got a nice score from me, but it didn't go down.
And here is Tracy McGrady of the Toronto Raptors, drafted out of high school 3 years ago. 6'8", 210 pounds, 20 years old. Tracy McGrady, what a way to open up.
He almost didn't get the ball up high enough. He was waiting for that thing to bounce and come up a little bit higher. He had to reach down, grab it, and curl it back over the top.
It was a much better dunk than it was pass. Like you say, Mike, he can't pass, but he can sure dunk.
Finds the handle, gets it up over the rim, and finishes.
Kenny, what's going on in your thinking process?
I really like that. I like the elevation. I like the creativity. However, he didn't get the ball up high enough on the dunk, so he was kind of low once he caught the ball, which makes the dunk a little bit easier, guys, over there. Like Danny would know that. Danny would definitely know that.
Hey, Kenny, I think that's crazy. I think that dunk that low, that's a lot harder if you got to bring it down from your knees.
Well, you know, once the ball is up there, then you catch it, bring it back down, and go up. Then I would have been a little more impressed. But it's okay. He got a high score from me. Got a very high score.
And that score is, all right, 9s right throughout. Cheryl?
Tracy, straight 9s. Now, you said that, you know, that was all right. That was just a warm-up for you.
That's all. I just wanted to make sure it went in. You know, I got 2 more dunks left for the first round, so I had to be, you know, creative on the first one, but make sure it went in. That was the most important thing.
So you weren't going deep into your bag yet?
Nah, I'm going to try to save it for the last 2 dunks that I have, so I'm going to be real creative on that, so y'all just stay tuned.
Keep the pressure on your cousin.
Oh, no doubt. He going to have it.
All right, let's go back to you, Mark.
All right, Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets up next. Incidentally, we are unveiling a jump meter tonight, a new technology that instantly measures the height that each player reaches when dunking. Oh, Steve Francis answering Tracy McGrady. Wow.
I can't tell you for sure what's going on in his head, but I'm not sure that when he got up there, he just couldn't decide whether he wanted 2 hands or 1 hand to finish it.
Well, it didn't matter. The guy was up so high. What's the dunk meter on that ball? That had to be 11 feet. Look at this guy right here. He doesn't even catch the ball clean. He doesn't have very big hands. The ball rolls down his wrist, and he still dunks it.
I want to hear how Kenny judges this pass now.
And you see the difference between catching it higher and catching it lower. He was up. He had to go get it. But it was very similar, as you were indicating my scoring. It was very similar. Tracy McGrady had a great dunk, but this was just as special.
Look at it. He dunks it with his wrist. He doesn't even have the ball in his hand.
And you see the jump meter, which displays the in-flight trajectory of the successful slam dunk. Crowd not agreeing with some of the scoring of what Kenny Smith had a 10, which is a perfect score. Here's Cheryl.
Oh, obviously, you're not really happy with that. You thought you could have caught it a little further from the basket.
I could have caught it, you know, but the ball kind of slipped out my hand. But, you know, hopefully I'll make it to the next round and, you know, advance.
What are you going to come with if you do advance?
I don't know. I got to think of something wonderful. So I'll be dialecting on the side over there.
All right, so Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets with an impressive start, and here is the man that this crowd wants to see. Vince Carter, who had told Kenny Smith that he has 4 dunks seen.
Hey, there's guys moving back on the sideline, NBA players, when he's coming. I don't understand this. This guy is making everybody move back, and he's going to take off on the free throw line from the beginning now. I'll just lose it right here. I'll lose it right now, Danny.
All right, here is Vince Carter with his first stop.
Let's go home. Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
Hey, that is a reverse 360 going against the grain. That is unbelievable.
This building just exploded.
That's called a gainer.
I'm expecting Kenny to say he double dribbled on that one.
Hey, my goodness, you know what I'm saying? Let's just sign the check over. Let's go home, call it a night. Let's see who's going for second place.
Vince Carter, 36 inches on the jump meter, and perfect on the scoreboard.
That might be one of the four we had not seen, ladies and gentlemen.
That might be number one. that might be in your top 4 all time, Kenny.
Hey, Michael, move over. Somebody's coming to get your best dunk ever.
All right, Vince is with Cheryl.
Vince, I'm telling you, a lot of people thinking that might have been the best dunk ever. How'd you feel about it?
I feel good. I've done it about 2 or 3 times in my life before that, so I didn't practice. I just that was a winger. Yeah, it felt good.
Hey, Vince, can it get any better than that?
I don't know. They're tough judges, but I have a couple of tricks on my sleeve.
All right. Is it back at the crate?
Well, Jerry Stackhouse, following a very tough act.
Just like coming up to bat after Babe Ruth or something. It's a tough one to do.
Hey, that was a pretty good dunk, but now he's probably going to get 7s and 8s.
You can't, you said after Babe Ruth, it's like you can't come after Babe Ruth. You don't go singing after Michael Jackson. There's certain things you just don't do. And right there, he's got to have to get a lower score just on crowd approval alone.
He should have done the dunk while Vince was getting his interview. Done the sneak quick one.
How about Vince Carter saying that he was winging it? Not bad for a guy winging it the first time out of the box.
29 inches on the jump meter there for Jerry Stackhouse.
And Jerry Stackhouse ends up with a 41.
Hey, Jerry, how tough was that act to follow?
You saw it. That was really tough to follow. It was just trying to, keep it going. Hopefully I can have a better dunk in the second round.
All right, we'll see what happens in the second round, Jerry. Thanks a lot. Mark?
All right, Cheryl. And Eddie Jones, the Charlotte Hornets teammate of second-year man Ricky Davis, who replaced the injured Antoine Jamison of the Warriors, who had re-aggravated a sprained left knee, will go the final entrant for the first dunk of the competition.
Actually, they found a gym today so that Ricky could go over and work on the finishing touches of his routine. And in this first round, you must use a teammate for at least one of the dunks. So he's using his teammate, Eddie Jones, right now.
Ricky Davis, as a rookie last year, excited crowds throughout the NBA with some extraordinary dunks. But all these guys are now following a very difficult act. Nicely done by Ricky Davis. But everything seems to pale after we see Vince Carter.
Anticlimactic after that. The whole place came down. What do you do next?
Hey, you know what, guys? I don't understand why all these guys have all these shooters being their passers. Where's David Wesley, Eric Snow? Where's these guys? These are the guys that give him the ball all night. He brings out Eddie Jones, who wants to take more shots than he does. I don't understand it.
What about Allen Iverson?
He's got Allen Iverson passing to him.
Larry Hughes.
He might pass it to the rim, Danny. He might shoot it.
So the tally on Ricky Davis is 40. And a look at the First round after the opening dunk. Vince Carter perfect with his 50, followed up by Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis. Back with much more, including Vince Carter's second dunk when we return. Welcome you back to the Bay Area, the site of the NBA All-Star Weekend. And what an opening for Vince Carter. And Jerry Stackhouse of the Detroit Pistons. Ricky Davis getting some help from teammate Eddie Jones. But people are still buzzing about last year's Rookie of the Year, Vince Carter. Vince Carter showing us perfection with the 50, 45 apiece for Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis. Back to the top of the lineup, Larry Hughes of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Larry's got to make sure that he finishes this dunk off so he has a chance in these last two dunks to advance.
Yes, he missed the shot in his first opportunity.
Hey, I've seen this somewhere before. I've seen this somewhere. This is a very difficult dunk, ladies and gentlemen. This is very difficult if you can catch it.
Now the judges have to rule whether or not he's allowed to do it one more time.
He gets one more time in my book, because once you don't touch the basketball, you get another one. But he's bouncing it too hard. He's bouncing the basketball too hard. You have to do it like a regular bounce pass, because the ball is your adrenaline flowing. The ball's going to hit the rim no matter what.
We asked Rod Thorne from the NBA this morning, how many opportunities do you get? And I guess they will give an extra shot. The feeling was it would be 3.
You know, if it was baseball, he'd be gone. That's all I'm going to say.
Strike 3, you're out.
He'd be gone if it was baseball.
All right, Larry Hughes taking a different direction to the dunk attempt. And once again, we'll see a string of 6s. Larry hearing it from the crowd as he lays it in.
I think Vince Carter's got everybody's brain a little bit, trying to do something maybe they can't do.
This is the minimum score. Larry Hughes once again with 6s across the board.
The sad thing is, Kenny, 6 is the lowest score you can get now, so your 24 score like 4 years ago still stands.
Hey, I'll tell you how difficult that dunk was. See, that's why I made my top 10 dunk. Between the legs, off the glass, catching it, that's difficult.
Kenny, there's no need to sell this. We were all very impressed.
Okay.
But what they don't know, Marv, is the inside story. Mike, Vinny Del Negro taught him that dunk in Sacramento. I was there. I witnessed it.
Brian Shaw, I have to give Brian. He was the first one to kind of show me it, and I put a little twist to it. But Brian Shaw, but Vinny could do it as well, but not as high.
Now this is teamwork, as Vince Carter will work with Tracy McGrady.
And I asked Vince, I said, what happens if Tracy throws you a bad pass, and what's going to happen? He said, you know what, Kenny? The best passes are bad passes on alley-oops.
All right, here's McGrady. Once again, able to windmill it home. Tracy McGrady with a couple of impressive dunks.
Kind of a low pass again, though, Kenny. Didn't get that ball up high enough. We haven't really seen what Tracy McGrady's capable of doing, as spectacular as that was.
Yes, Vince Carter, not a passer. Where's Muggsy Bogues for this pass? But that's still impressive.
Impressive. His head is at the rim. Look at this.
You know, I've never had the pleasure of being up that high, knowing what it's like to be there. So,
see, he would have gotten a 10 out of me if I hadn't seen the Vince Carter dunk.
Oh, Kenny.
He would have got, but it wasn't the same as the Vince Carter dunk. So that's the precedent. Vince has to come higher than that to get another 10 from me.
Well, 36-inch vertical leap. The other 4 judges going with 10s. Only Kenny Smith showing a 9.
It's that North Carolina tie right there. He doesn't want to give Tracy. That's bad judging.
No, he set the precedent what a 10 is. I don't know what it is.
So you're telling me that if Vince Carter doesn't do as good as that first dunk, he can't get a 10?
He cannot get a 10.
All right.
Maybe we should have just given Vince an 11 or a 12 on the first dunk.
Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets, who opened up with a 45 on his first stuff.
I predict a 50 right here. I'm going out on a limb. I predict a 50, Kenny.
I like it so far.
Francis. Oh, again. It appeared that the bounce was behind his head, but able to save it and put it home.
He almost overruns the basketball. The ball winds up further behind him than he anticipated. Here he gets going. The ball stays behind. Let me reach back, grab it, and finish.
Whoa.
What do you have for us over there, Kate?
Oh, I got to give him the 10 on that one, ladies and gentlemen, because, like you said, the ball is so far behind him that he actually hits his ankle with the basketball. Watch it hit his ankle. He's going to come back. The jump meter's not 38. It must be wrong, because that has to be over 38.
All right, let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, George, you scored low at the beginning, but you've come up now with a 10 for Vince and a 10 now, and this last one for Stevie Francis. What's impressed you?
Well, you know, what impressed me about Stevie Francis is his size and then his creativity for a guy his size. You know, that's pretty difficult to do. That's a 10.
And Rick, what'd you try to give Vince?
Listen, I wanted to give Vince a 12, but you know, he has to understand that he's a lot tougher on him. Hey, I'm a white guy that couldn't jump. I'm impressed with all of this stuff.
All right, now let's get on.
All right, and here is the second dunk of the night for Vince Carter. And Vince adding to the repertoire. Let's see what the judges have in store.
Well, we've just seen a new out-of-bounds play for the Toronto Raptors.
You know what's so impressive is you see Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Darrell Armstrong, all these guys that can really run and jump. They're in awe of what they're seeing. That is unbelievable.
Vince Carter finishes with a 49, and the reason is Kenny Smith, the only judge not to award a 10. What's going on there?
Because I told you, he set the precedent with the first one. That would have been a 10 any other time but today.
You know, I think that Kenny is out of the pages of Eugenia Williams, who was the judge in the Holyfield-Lewis fight, who claimed that she was screened out.
Well, no, Kenny, he set himself up for that. We got Kenny on that one, Mike. We set him up. We knew we couldn't duplicate that in the first round. Now I think Vince has got some more 10s up his sleeve.
This is just the early going. We'll see what he could do. I'm not impressed anymore.
All right, Grant Hill with teammate Jerry Stackhouse, and the pass off the mark.
Just a little body to leap over at the end. If the pass is in the right place, we'll see Stackhouse fly over the top of Grant Hill.
That was delivered on target, but Stackhouse not able to put it down.
And you know what's right? Catino Mobley right now is really mad at Grant Hill and Stackhouse because that's the one they had saved for Steve Francis in the finals.
That was very good. If it would have gone down, it could have been close. Could have been close, because Grant Hill is definitely not the passer on that team.
So what you're saying is they made the decision easy for you this time.
And you know what? They had Duke and Carolina working together. I should have given him a 7, even though I can't give him a 7 on that. Just with Duke and Carolina was together on that.
Next up, Ricky Davis of the Charlotte Hornets in his second year out of Iowa. As you see, the 36, Jerry Stackhouse. So, despite the miss, did get some credit.
McGrady, 94. Jerry Stackhouse, 77.
I think Ricky Davis here has a between the legs, up, throw the ball to himself, catch it, go between his legs, and dunk it.
And Ricky Davis.
Did you do a scouting report early this morning?
I'm just saying, you know, I've seen him do that in warm-ups before games before. I'm just predicting that. He needs one of his better dunks right here.
Ricky Davis with a 40, his first dunk. Went off The high hop to the windmill and not able to connect.
No, the young guy, maybe a little too young, I don't know. But again, I still think that Vince Carter's getting in their head, Mike.
Well, he gets in a bad position. Where the ball winds up landing, I think, is a problem for him as far as location underneath the rim. Now he gets there, and it's like, how do I get it back around far enough to create some space?
I've seen him do that dunk many times. He could do that in his sleep. I think the pressure's getting to him a little bit.
The final count of 32 for Ricky Davis.
Ricky Davis with a point total of 32, gives him a 2-round total.
And after 2 dunks in round number 1, Vince Carter in very good shape. We'll be right back. The NBA's aerial show is back, featuring the next generation as you check out the jump meter, which displays the in-flight trajectory of each player's successful slam dunk. It measures the height each player reaches when dunking. Steve Francis, 40 inches on the jump meter, followed by Steve Francis at 38, and then Ricky Davis, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. And in this third and final dunk of this first round, as we look ahead to the finals, they are actually going through the motions. Our mathematicians have just figured out it is impossible for anyone to catch Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Steve Francis. That will be the final 3.
So basically, those 3 players should save their best dunks for the next round. Don't give up anything here that they might lose an advantage going into the next round.
Absolutely, and the toughest judge over there has been George Gervin. So what I say, he's been going 1 point less than everybody else. I say everybody do a finger roll this round. Try to get that 1 point extra.
All right, as Allen Iverson feeding off to Larry Hughes. The crowd somewhat impressed. It's a tough crowd after what we have seen over the first 2 rounds.
Well, at least Allen passed it.
Let's go to Reggie Theus. Reggie?
All right, guys, I'm over here. You know, these guys over here are filming themselves. They got a show going on. Have you ever seen the dunk like Vince Carter put on the first one?
I must admit, man, I ain't never seen nothing like that. See where my counterpart. You ever seen anything like that, man?
I've never seen anything like that. He did the 360 windmill. That was like Dominique and Jordan combined.
That was almost a 460. What about Steve Francis?
Steve Francis was nice too. Something like an astronaut tonight, man. But Vince Carter doing stuff like, you know, seeing the Earth from the moon type stuff.
So what show you guys got going here?
This is just Chris Webber KG show, you know, bringing it straight, you know, road dog, you know, uncut, you know, so you might not, you know, want to get up on there.
Some of the things we can't put on air?
No, we got to get, you know, let them know the real version.
All right, so what's McGrady getting ready to do right now? Can he hang with the big boys?
No, he can hang. He can hang. You know, he's doing this thing too, you know, but Stevie Francis and VC, they just doing some crazy. Hold up, I gotta take this right here. Hold on.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit to finish this out, guys.
So right here.
All right, Reggie. Well, apparently Chris Webber, Kevin Garnett, extremely impressed with what they have seen. Tracy McGrady checking out the angles.
Oh. I wonder if Tracy even knows right now. He's got anybody telling him he could just kind of chill until the finals.
He'll be coasting right now into the next round.
Does not have to do anything extraordinary, but he does.
Oh!
Tracy McGrady with the hat trick. 3 sensational dunks.
Oh, man.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Basically, the winner of the competition has the best poster dunk this evening because that one's going to be up on somebody's wall, just like Neek is, just like Michael Jordan, just like Spud Webb. The winners, they make a poster of their best dunk, and everybody's out there buying it and hanging it in their room.
10 is not enough. This is, Danny, this 10 is not enough. So we have to kind of separate it now, like 10.1, 10.2. We need the points because this is impossible.
I think we tried to tell you that earlier.
A very impressive line for Tracy McGrady, perhaps a message for the competition as he heads to the final.
Well, Tracy got a 50. The interesting thing is he got a 50 without it. The strategy coming into the finals is going to be, do they want to use their teammates as passers and jumpers? And now Francis and Mobley right here, they had planned to do the lob, jump over the top of Mobley, one that Grant Hill.
Well, maybe they'll use it because they didn't finish the other group. Stackhouse and Hill really never got it done, right?
Right, so it might look impressive to do it just to get it out of the way.
He's going to do it. No, he didn't bend down. I thought he bent down.
Good idea, but not able to cash in.
Didn't matter. He's in the finals anyway.
And the crowd responds to the combination of Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley of the Houston Rockets. So he will keep his first 2 scores. He can drop 1 of the 3. And Steve Francis will end up with a 95 for the first round.
Well, that wasn't his best. I mean, he was saving it. You could tell he was just kind of cruising right there. That was a very easy dunk for Steve Francis.
Let's go to Craig.
Well, Steve, you obviously knew you were in the finals already, but you guys had not worked as a team. Is that the one you planned right there?
No, you know, Jerry Stackhouse and
Grant Hill
took our original dunk.
They stole it. They stole
We
it.
try to improvise. You know, we some young bucks. We still try to improvise, but I still, you know, really respect him, and I was glad I was able. You know, even though I missed, I'm happy I'm in the finals.
We just wanted to participate as well as possible.
Just
go back to Mark.
Now, those are team players.
Well, yeah, but like Kenny said, another guy that's not a passer. Mobley's a shooter and a scorer. He doesn't pass the ball.
This the finale on the first round for Vince Carter, who has assured himself a spot in the final.
But see, that's I'm sorry, Mark, but that's a showman. Coming out anyway, here Steve Francis and Tracy McGrady, these guys are going to still try to do something spectacular. He's telling me no more low scores. 9 is low to him.
Kenny, they have you pegged. Vince Carter getting the timing down with Tracy McGrady. So they'll give it another shot.
Smart play, Tracy. Throw it low so he can't catch it.
No, you know what he's doing, Danny? The bounce, he's going to catch it, put it between his legs, and dunk it. So he wants it low to do that. And if he does this, like I said, 10 is not enough.
Why doesn't he save this one, though? Why doesn't he, unless he's got 2 or 3 more in his bag?
Yeah, and keep in mind, Vince Carter also has a few stitches in that left hand where he incurred an injury dealing with weights in the weight room. So he stitched up in the left hand doing all this.
Oh, that's good enough. It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
The judges are coming over the table to congratulate Vince Carter. This is unheard of.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It is over. Did I call it, Danny, or what?
Hey, Tracy McGrady, he doesn't even know what to do. He's walking away. He plays with this guy every day, and he's in awe.
Another look.
Whoa.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, Kenny, he's got 3 of your top 5 all time already.
But what he told me before the contest, he said he watched all of these dunk contests. He was going to take a little bit of someone else, a little bit of Dominique, and put them together. So he put the Isaiah Ryder with the Spud Webb and threw it the bounce pass and throw it to himself and dunk it. Impossible.
And a 37-inch vertical leap. Vince Carter with a spectacular show on this first round. Let's go to Cheryl.
You want Isaiah?
A couple of times, but this one is the first time you've done it.
That was the first time I've ever done that in my life. I just sat there and thought of it, just sitting on the bench. You know.
Vince, you should be perfect throughout the 3 rounds. Do you have anything to say to Kenny Smith?
Thanks, Kenny. That's okay. We'll talk later.
Thanks a lot, Vince.
Are you still coming to my basketball camp? That's what I want to know.
Kenny would like to know, are you still coming to his basketball camp?
Kenny, I'm coming.
Okay, you coming back again next year. Thank you.
All right, Vince does not hold grudges about Kenny Smith has been very tough. Jerry Stackhouse with a beautiful stuff, but once again, after we've seen Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis, that appeared almost ordinary.
You know, the problem with this is Vince Carter's setting a standard right now like Michael Jordan did, and Dominique. They're so dominant. If they don't do this contest next year or the year after, you're playing for second place. It's like Tiger Woods not playing in a golf tournament.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Rod Thorne better be sure that he announces Carter's coming back next year very late after he gets the other commitments. Otherwise, nobody's showing up.
Now let's go to Craig.
Well, the second highest vertical leap was shown by Isaiah Thomas after Vince Carter's dunk. Tell me what you thought about it.
You can't think. I just reacted. I was excited. I just jumped out of my seat. He made me say ooh, he made me say ah, and then I just jumped.
Did he mess up your scoring system now?
Ain't no point total. He's off the charts. I mean, really off the charts. People say that, but this guy, he in another planet.
Back to you, Marv.
All right, thank you, Craig. And here is Ricky Davis of the Hornets. Trying to go between the legs. This is the shot that you mentioned earlier that he'd been working on.
You know, Ricky doesn't have quite as big a hands as Vince Carter, and it's a little bit tougher dunk. He can jump high enough, but he's got to grip it.
Oh, Ricky Davis between the legs and able to go to the tomahawk.
And wound up catching it and using two hands to finish on it. So you got to give him a little credit there for coming back on that one and having one heck of a dunk.
That is an unbelievable dunk right there. Two hands that time. Vince does it with one because he's got bigger hands, but he got two hands up there to do that.
Two hands, but it wasn't on the bounce. But I'm giving him a sympathy 10. That's a sympathy 10.
That's nice of you, Kenny.
Is that a soft 10, Kenny?
No question.
So headed to the final, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Steve Francis. More excitement to come on the slam dunk competition. Oakland, California, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Danny Ainge, along with our working judge, Kenny Smith, as we head to the final round. It will be Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Steve Francis. There are the finalists. Francis will go first, followed by McGrady and Carter. This is an event that has produced memorable moments from the exploits of Michael Jordan to Dominique Wilkins to the remarkable Spud Webb, Kenny Skywalker, who competed right after his father's death, to the blindfolded Cedric Savanos, Brent Barry, Kobe Bryant. And now we come down to the final round of an event that will be remembered. Let's go to Reggie Theus.
All right, Marv, I'm over here with Shaq, a huge fan of Vince Carter in the dunk. Shaq, you know how to throw it down, but have you ever seen Vince or anybody throw it down like Vince Carter?
Let me tell you something, Reggie. If I see anything like that, I'm going to talk to my lawyer and I'm going to retire.
Was it over with the first dunk?
Yeah, but he told me he's going to do a 720. I'm just telling you what he told me.
720?
A 720.
I don't even know what that is.
Tell him to do that 720.
He's over there. He said, you going to tell Vince that Shaq said do the 720. Watch this one. Watch this one. The new one? Yes. All right. Let's go back to Marv.
All right, Reggie. And in this final round, each competitor will have two dunks with or without a teammate.
720 sounds like 2 360s to me.
You know what was amazing was Vince Carter was out watching the mascots jump off the trampoline looking for ideas on what he was going to do in the finals.
Vince Carter looking to psych out Steve Francis. All right, here's Francis with his first.
Not good enough, pretty good dunk, but that wasn't as good as the one he bounced and did that same action off of.
And you have to believe that Vince Carter has the advantage of the crowd going wild with every one of his opportunities.
Reminiscent of Michael Jordan doing something similar years ago. Dominique using that same one from the side, where they come from the left side, bring it back, scoop it down and up, and then finish with the dunk.
We still have to remember that Stevie Francis is only 6'2.5". And those dunks are very impressive for 6'2.5".
With small hands, too. He can't even palm a basketball. I was in the locker room with him before the game. He cannot palm a basketball.
All right, the total 43 on the first dunk
I guess I'm gone.
for Steve Francis.
I guess I'm finished with that one.
Now, Tracy McGrady. He's 20 years old. He'll celebrate his 21st birthday in May. A man who will be a very sought-after free agent following this season.
I don't know about you guys, but this is exciting right here. Watching Tracy Vincent and Steve Francis. This is awesome.
All right, McGrady with another gorgeous windmill stuff.
Let's see your card.
Ken, you'll be looking over at Isaiah's sheet.
Hey, I'm doing just like I used to do in calculus. I'm looking at the next man's paper.
Hey, there was, again, Kenny, I don't know about that pass. The pass just kind of took a little bit out of that dunk.
A little bit out of it. You know, it was great. It was a great dunk. But right here, he shouldn't have looked back. He said something to somebody. I think that threw his concentration off.
Each of the judges going with a 9 for a total of 45 for McGrady on his first dunk in this final round, which brings us to Vince Carter.
You know what's so amazing about Vince? Not only his jumping ability, but he's got so much power, too. I mean, he's got a bigger body than Michael. He's stronger. He jumps just as high, big as hands, but he's just got so much power to go with that.
It's a combination of Dominique and Michael right here. It's a combination.
Plus, I think he's a little bit more of a show-off, too.
You see that swagger? He's looking at me like I'm supposed to say something. He's got the swagger. He's got it all. The same kind of swagger that the Dominiques and the Jordans have.
All right, Vince Carter with his first on the final round.
Ladies, wait, timeout. Can I take a timeout?
Have we ever seen that before?
Can I take a timeout?
I saw him rubbing his upper arm, and I was wondering what he was doing. He was just cleaning it off, making sure there was nothing slippery there, because he knew how far into the rim he was going.
Wait a moment, Dan. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen that before. I'm not sure the guy can't go in through the rim head first.
Hey, let's see if there's a trampoline out there when he's doing this stuff. The mascots left the trampoline out there, I think.
You know, we used to hear of people taking quarters off the top of the glass and maybe leaving change. That's about as close as you will come to seeing that. That was unbelievable.
Tell me Butch Carter to just fall off his chair when he sees this guy hanging up on the rim like that, worried about his shoulder.
Hey, I don't think they have an alley-oop play in Toronto. What you doing up there, Butch Carter? Wait a minute.
Make that another 50 for Vince Carter. Now look at the jump meter. And Steve Francis still with the best vertical leap at 40 inches with that first dunk in round one. All right, Steve Francis being urged on by supporters. It's the second dunk of the final round for Francis.
He's allowed to replace that dunk now. He gets the opportunity to replace one missed dunk in the final.
I know, but it doesn't matter now. He got 43 in his first dunk. He was right. I think he's done. I think Vince can just go up and dunk it any way he wants for 50.
He's got the wind knocked out of his sails right now. He doesn't even feel like doing it, I don't think, Stevie.
Come on, man.
I'm going to give you something if you do something good for us, baby.
Steve getting some advice from Jerome Williams of the Detroit Pistons. Asking Jason Williams of Sacramento to step back, looking for the room. the final round. Vince Carter opened with a 50. Tracy McGrady with a 45. Steve Francis with a 43.
You got big numbers with that one. Big numbers.
That's awesome.
So the crowd responding to Steve Francis. Let's see how the judges respond.
Well, I had to give him a 10 ball. You know, it wasn't a sympathy 10 either. This guy really went up and got this. He could have said, I'm just going to leave the competition, but he goes up, cocks it between the legs and throws it down.
That's unbelievable, guy. I mean, he's 6'2", but he doesn't have short arms or big hands. I mean, that is awesome what he just did right there. This guy would win it a lot of years.
Kenny, you have become more and more compassionate as the competition has moved on.
Well, you know, he did a great job. You had to give him the props for that one. Putting it through his legs, coming back. But this young man, I think, has something in store for us, too.
They didn't want me to win today.
So Steve Francis with a 48, tacked down to the 43. 91 is his score for the final. And here's Tracy McGrady, who opened up with a 45 on this final round.
You can imagine if they put a little pressure on Vince going into the last jump.
Let's go!
And McGrady not able to connect.
Does that count? We need to know if that's a count. Leon Wood. We need to talk to Leon Wood.
No, he gets another opportunity.
You know, Tracy's just having trouble getting the ball high enough, don't you think, Kenny? He's throwing the passes too low.
Because it gets the whole crowd involved when the ball is in the air, and it makes it a little bit better.
So that will do it for Tracy McGrady. And it will come down to Vince Carter, who opened up with a 50 on his first slam of this final round.
Danny, how high do you think he tries to bring his difficulty up here on the last dunk? Obviously, he's got to finish it off. He's got to make the basket at the end, but then how much they add to it?
Now, Vince Carter needs 42, just a 42 for the victory. McGrady got a 32 on that second attempt for a 77, so he will finish third. Carter has put up a 50, a 49, a 50, and a 50.
Half man, half amazing.
Well, he gets 2 tries at it, too, because you get a replacement dunk in this last round, so I think that we know who won this right here.
Once again, Vince measuring. Would love to conclude with an explosion.
You know you're good when the contestants come to the other side to watch you. That's truly meaning that you're half man, half amazing. Vince Carter, the NBA dunk champion. I'm crowning him right now, Mom.
They are standing here at the arena in Oakland. And as you mentioned, Kenny, the other NBA players going to the other end of the court. Photographers also making a move. Everyone standing. Here comes Carter and puts it down.
He goes 2 hands from the free throw line instead of 1.
As we said, needs only a 42 for the victory.
Well, that'll give 42, but Kenny better not give him a 10 this time.
I think that was a smart dunk. That was a smart safety dunk.
Absolutely.
He elevated, he took off close to the foul line, but he knew what he needed to win. That's a smart dunk at the end to get the championship.
And it's a great dunk. 2 hands from as far as he jumped off. It was very safe, and he's saving something for next year.
You know what, Danny? That was a 9, but I owed him 1, so I gave him a 10.
What a generous guy. Well, down through the years, there have been a number of terrific free throw style dunks. Here's a look at Vince Carter once again, who ends up with a 48 on that second dunk for a total of 98. And here's a look. Julius Erving with a similar move, but went to the one hand. Michael Jordan with the one-hand slam. Another memorable stuff. And Brent Barry a couple of years ago, again, straight down the lane for the one-hand job. And here is Vince Carter, who is the champion of the NBA.com slam dunk competition. Carter concludes with a 98. Steve Francis, the runner-up, followed by Tracy McGrady. Here's Craig with Vince.
All right, Vince. Flying, skying, swooping, but hanging by your elbow on the rim. What was the best dunk you think of the day?
I don't know. I like the bounce with between the legs, because that was the first time I've ever done that. That was off the fly. I thought about it right before I went, and I'm just happy I made it. But you know, it feels good right now. I'm just shocked.
Before that final dunk, you knew you had it won, but still a spectacular dunk. 2 hands from the foul line.
Well, not quite the foul line, and you know, I like to get that opportunity to try that again. You know, but it feels good right now. I mean, I think everybody did a great job, and you know, I'm just happy to win.